lineup first. We'll come back to KSA. Dejani and Herlock up top, two very strong, very fast, very physical number 9s playing together.
And what I like to look at always as a former goalkeeper is the goalkeeper. And when you look at a player like Owen Barnett, a Wake Forest commit, this is a great opportunity to test himself. Wake Forest, a very competitive competition at the NCAA Division I level. He's going to play against players with the experience of these KSA players. Great test for him in between the sticks today.
KSA will be in a 4-2-2-2 today, at least on paper. Excited to see how the attacking duo of Wilfred Kamdem-Chupa and Anthony Sumo combine up top for KSA. But also look out for Kalen Kalonji and Daniel Tuamasi, both former Atlanta United Academy players, now with KSA. Let's kick it for 45 minutes from Shiloh General Stadium in Snellville. KSA in the all-white, moving from right to left on your screens. Atlanta United in the all-black with red trim, gold print moving from left to right.
And I think it's important to note the conditions here in Georgia today. It is hot out there. We spent some time in the bleachers, not even on the turf, and it was toasty within minutes. That heat is going to play a role in today's game. Expect to see the tempo ebb and flow as players try and get up to the conditions that is Georgia in the heat of summer.
Barnett picks out Ioak and Toby with a long diagonal up the right side. Atlanta turns it over. KSA on it now. Joseph Samuel opens things up down the left side. Trying to make a run through is Samuel. Sean Lanza there to defend. He puts it out for the throw.
And what I like about that play from Lanza is it's a no-nonsense clearance. He maybe later on in the game when he's got his touches under his belt tries to play through that pressure. But this early on in the game, within that first minute period, better to play it safe and force a KSA throw.
KSA rebuild through the back. They work it over to the right side. A couple of changes as we're seeing to the KSA lineup that was given to us and what's on the field. We'll work through that as we go. Not the first time around, not our first rodeo either. Up the left side, here comes Atlanta down the left flank. Last touch gets away there as Hutzel was making the run. Throw KSA. A little bit overcooked there. Atlanta will run it down. Braden Dunham captained the U16s to their MLS Next championship last season. Long ball up to Herlock. Able to turn. Samuel has to track all the way back. Clears it up into the sky. Luzon tries to bring it down. The Davidson, soon to be sophomore this fall. Atlanta will take the throw at midfield.
Does have that feeling of a championship game right now, though, with both teams feeling each other out. No real chances have been created within the first 2.5 minutes as of yet on the field as they try and adjust to the circumstances, adjust to the pitch, get that weight of passing. We've seen a little bit of a disconnect so far on both these squads.
Streelman trying to turn the corner. He's got great pace on that left side, but not enough real estate to make that turn.
Pitch does feel a little bit narrow down there, and when you look at the corner flag distance to the side of the 18-yard box, it is a more petite field. And I think you see Atlanta United in that moment on that left-hand flank struggling to adjust to the skinniness of the pitch, used to a little bit more wide space to be able to break into.
Streelman and Akintobi, the wing backs, are going to be the ones really affected by that, and we'll see how they adjust. Into midfield, Luzon draws the foul. Former Atlanta United 2 player Tony Tiente commits the foul. Also the former Georgia Gwinnett Grizzly.
A little bit of gamesmanship going on there. Atlanta United trying to grab an extra 10 yards. The KSA player wasn't too happy about it, rolled it back. It is a championship game after all. Expect some pleasantries between the two sides.
You take whatever you can get in a match. Just ask Jamal TRA about that. Atlanta up the right side, Herlock.
Goalkeepers, cover your eyes.
Herlock gets the cross in. Dejani comes flying through, made contact, but it came back out to Herlock. Akintobi knocked down by Tiente.
Good read by Tiente there. Positioning was perfect to cut out that cross. Think Akintobi needs to find a different distribution in that moment. Just try to thread the ball through the eye of the needle. Maybe recycle and give someone else a better angle to possess.
KSA trying the right side. Tuamasi blocked by Hutzel. It'll be a throw for KSA. Knocked away at midfield. Whistle blown. Foul called. Kalen Kalonji upended.
Referee just deemed that that free kick was taken a little quicker. He wanted to get in a different position. Looks like KSA will have a second bite at the apple.
I think they took it from about 6 or 7 yards further back this time. You know, sometimes you think that's not an advantage, but you're supposed to take the free kick from where the foul happens. Tiente will backheel it to Ibrahima Damfa. Kimani Irving, Grant Carr. Carr with the through ball. It's a good one. Flag is up, though. Sliding challenge at the end of the play. KSA player down. Not sure. Didn't think there was a ton of contact there as Tuamasi made the run through.
Get another look at the replay here. Tuamasi just jumps his guns a little bit too early here, and we're getting a look at the contact. It's a clean tackle through the ball, just maybe the leftovers catches him on the shin, a painful one, but he isn't worse for wear up here. Getting his ground will reset with the free kick for Atlanta United for the offside offense.
Look, gamesmanship, it's part of it too. And, you know, we always have this conversation, Jess, about how players try to manage referees in a match, maybe try to work referees. It's all part of the match, and it's all part of trying to find whatever advantage you can.
You put a seed in the referee's head that maybe there's a bit too much physicality, maybe they're committing late tackles, because next time if it's not offside, it makes the referee think twice about whether a foul was committed in the box.
Ran out of room on that far side, so it'll be a throw for KSA. Right in front of Stephen Covino, the Atlanta United head coach. Tiente drops it back to Irving. High pressure to Janey and Herlock, but Irving showing his quality, just slips between them.
Beautiful composure.
Carr over the top, nobody home.
Just felt a little bit rushed in that moment by KSA, forcing that long ball forward. Two players not on the same page in that moment.
Atlanta working it from left to right. Ibarra to Lanza. Sean Lanza has typically played as a fullback in his career. Played a lot with Atlanta United too last year. He's playing as the third center back here today. Dunham over the top. Dejani will chase and fight for it, commit the foul. Looked like he had got to the ball first, but the arm was out.
Yeah, I thought he got a little nip with the toe there ahead of the defender, but what this does, even though it resets as a KSA free kick, is gets in the back of the defender's mind. He's always going to be wondering, is Dejani behind me? Is he pressing? And 9 times out of the 10, I think he is.
Luke Hutzel comes away with it, takes off down the left, heavy touch as he tried to turn the corner. It'll be a goal kick for KSA. 8th minute, no score between KSA and Atlanta United's academy side, mostly a U19 side. So we see Hutzel trying to make the run through.
Hutzel's been busy on that left-hand side, confident player, likes to drive forward, just hasn't quite got that final touch to allow him a service into the box as of yet, but it's encouraging signs for Atlanta United's bench. They'll be happy with the performance he's had on the left-hand side.
Hutzel headed to Furman in the fall. Will be playing in the SoCon. Throw on the far side for Atlanta United. Braden Dunham, who's also committed to Furman, but he's got 1 more year to go in the academy. Make sure you are subscribed to the Atlantic Soccer Media Group YouTube channel. Get all of the content as the winner of this one will move on into the national tournament.
It's always so fun to watch those pathways and see the different combinations of academy teams, independent teams that make their way through. We had the pleasure of calling a semi-final last year, and the level, the quality that UPSL brings to the table is always fantastic.
Ibarra over to the left. Dunham down the middle. Intended for Herlock. Carr steps in front, wins the header. Pressure from Atlanta. KSA trying to play through it. Dunham stepped up, almost turned it over. But Dunham and Luzon maybe got in each other's way a little bit there.
But you talk about momentum in games, and it feels like Atlanta United right now grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck. More of the possession in their attacking third, more creativity. KSA just riding that wave of pressure at the moment, trying to build with some possession of their own to growing confidence at the 9-minute mark.
That's the thing about this KSA team, though. They don't really get flustered too easily. Saw them earlier in the playoffs where they were down 2-0 at halftime and came back to win 4-2. They can be explosive, as there will be a check on Anthony Sumo, who was upended.
You could hear the bench on the crowd mic appealing that there was a foul behind the ball. Didn't really see anything untoward in that moment.
Sumo, a former UPSL Georgia Golden Boot winner, as is Matthew DeJaney on the Atlanta side.
Feels like that should be a recipe for lots of goal calls tonight, perhaps.
We'll see. It's a final, though. You know how these things go. Teams are a little cagey early on. Throw KSA in the middle third on the right.
And on that note, yet to see a shot from either team, let alone a shot on target. So hitting the 10-minute mark now hasn't been one for the history books, but I have a feeling it's about to heat up soon.
Yeah, I think the actual heat is a little bit of a reason for that.
I think game time temperature was close to the 3-digit mark, which means that down on that field, at least 100 degrees, 94 degrees right now, the temperature at Shiloh Stadium. Don't forget that turf adds a considerable amount to the feels-like factor.
Dunham brings it down, carries it through the middle, dispossessed. Hutzel there to bail him out. Streelman's pass intercepted on the far side, and he commits the foul, trying to win it back. Maybe into the persistent infringement warning section of the match.
It's interesting to see the referee, how he's guiding this game. Hasn't had any of those intimate conversations with players that have committed fouls as of yet to set that tone or that bar.
Carr plays it back into the center circle. Tiente always looking to conduct the possession work for KSA. Tumasi back to Damfa, and all the way back to Henry Pleites.
This is a better phase of possession by KSA right now, looking comfortable on the ball, but Atlanta United executing their press well.
Able to pop that through. Tiente finds the open man. Big switch back across, comes up short, intercepted by Akintobi. Bain Smith driving through the middle of the pitch. Bain Smith lays it off. Heavy touch, though. Too much for Luzon to get to. Herlock was in the vicinity as well. KSA wants to flip the field. Dunham blocks that pass from Twumasi. Luzon to Streelman, back to Noah Luzon. Intercepted by Yosef Samuel, but the foul is on the ball before that, as Luzon went to the ground, fouled by Kalen Kalonji.
Really brave play by Luzon there, who just needs to get a touch on the ball. He can see over his shoulder the KSA player's coming, and what he does is gets the touch away, nicks it away from the player, and then takes the contact, which allows Atlanta United to reset with a free kick. And it's a decent area to be able to send the ball into that mixing zone behind that high back line of KSA and test the goalkeeper and defensive communication.
Dunham going to take this free kick with the left foot. The left-sided center back, one hand in the air, drives it across to the back post, headed down. Grant Carr read that one well. Atlanta will try to run it down. Lands his pass, intercepted by Jabari Watson. Big tackle, Atlanta wins it back. Bain Smith overran it the first time, able to find the handle the second time. Loops back around to the left, has Herlock. Herlock turned, stood up, cleared by Irving, but he ran out of room trying to clear that. It's going to be an Atlanta throw.
But that whole phase of play started with the tackle from Sean Lanza. Beautiful tackle as he went to ground. Physical play sets the tone. I think sometimes when you see that you're playing an academy side, maybe you overlook them. You think they're not going to be as physical. Atlanta United's academy has come to play today in the physical duels as well as with the skill set.
Herlock back to goal, back to Akintobi, floats it in, header, big save, play test, still there, Bain Smith, into the side netting. Goal kick.
You see what it means to Playtez there, rallying around his back line, saying that he was left exposed with the point-blank header. We'll get another look on the replay here, just how close it is. It's an open header, and Playtez quickly down to his left-hand side to claw it back from the goal line. Agile goalkeeping from the El Salvadorian keeper.
Playtez very acrobatic in goal, capable of the spectacular save. Had to make one there.
And you know I'm a fan of the smaller goalkeeper club, and he makes up for what he might lack in size with his agility in front of net.
Pressure from Atlanta forces another turnover. Luzon. Gonna drop this back to his goalkeeper, Owen Barnett. Big left foot from Barnett, maybe a little bit too big that time. Couple of bounces into the hands of Playtez.
But Luzon is so fluid for Atlanta United. You're seeing him drop into the back line to pick up the ball, confident in possession, but also involved in the attacking side of the ball. He is putting in the miles for this team today.
It's a good opportunity for him, the oldest player on the field for Atlanta United's academy side. Going to be a college sophomore this fall at Davidson. Dunham. Headed away by Carr. But Watson coming back from an offside position. It'll be a free kick, Atlanta at midfield.
But it's a great look at the discipline and the communication between this back line. They knew that they'd held their line perfectly, the way they all in unison appealed to the linesman to raise his flag.
Lands a big switch to Streelman. He heads it into the middle. KSA able to deal with it. Tiente brings it down nicely. Floats one down the right side for Sumo. Long run for Ibarra, and he wins the challenge with Anthony Sumo.
Such an important tackle by Pablo Ibarra. He's getting the high fives from his teammates because they know that's a game-changing slide tackle. You prevent the clear run through for the 1v1. Had to get it right as he went to ground and was able to get a big connection on it to knock it out for the throw-in far side.
Up the right side, KSA. Dunham will clear. It's a well-timed challenge from Pablo Ibarra, the 18-year-old. He's played with Venezuela's U17s in the past. Came to the Atlanta Academy from IMG. He's the middle of the three center backs for Atlanta. KSA tries to work the left side this time, but it's overhit. Thrown in by Akintobi. Bain Smith dispossessed by Joseph Samuel. Atlanta flips the field, though. They get into the attacking half with a throw.
It's just patient, gaining a little territory, getting the opportunity now to try and test from the throw and enjoy some possession. Impressed with the maturity right now that Atlanta United is showing with that composure.
Akintobi throws it in, intercepted by Samuel. Watson beats one, beats Lanza on the dribble. Watson down the left. Hutzel back to defend. Watson gets past him. Left-footed cross. Back post. Sumo touches it inside. Kick save from Barnett on Twumasi. Atlanta's got to clear. They do.
Such a good save by Barnett there because his momentum's taken him one way, but he's still able to bring the boot up to make contact to clear away.
Kalonji works it back to the left. Watson. Right-footed shot blocked. Atlanta player went down. I think that caught him in the back of the head or the side of the head. The save from Barnett was ridiculous because it looked like Sumo was going to take the shot. It ends up being Twumasi who takes it. And Barnett was able to deal with it.
And that's what's so important as a goalkeeper, always being alert to what you might not be able to expect. The goalkeeper, Barnett, goes down to ground, and we'll get another look at the save here. It's great play on this left-hand side by Watson, who really brought the energy there. And you see the goalkeeper, he's setting, his momentum takes him left. The ball goes a little bit more central, but to have that speed of reaction, to bring the boot up and kick it away is fantastic from Owen Barnett.
It's so impressive because even just the misdirection where Sumo wants to take it, touch gets away from him, it falls to Twumasi. Tumasi with a pump fake in there as well, and Barnett still able to deal with it.
It's the patience of the goalkeeper. How often do we see goalkeepers trying to overcommit, trying to cheat a little bit to get that advantage? You see Barnett on his tippy toes. He's constantly got hot feet ready to move, and because he's quick to react, he's able to get that boot up.
Barnett will play it up the right side. Sean Lanza blocked that last shot. He is cleared to continue, and he's back on the field now. Got to be careful with any potential head injuries. KSA with the throw back to Irving. Back to Playtez. Atlanta stepping up high to press consistently. They'll win a throw out of that this time, but Jess, in this heat, as we're in the 20th minute, it's going to be hard to maintain that level of intensity in the press.
It absolutely is, and they're going to have to take breaks. I think that's what's important now, choosing your battles. When's the right time to press? When can you actively rest in the moment? Choosing those battles, choosing that fatigue. And also, the bench is going to play a huge role in this match. Are you able to make substitutes at the right time that don't drop the level?
Watson dribbling to the right. His pass comes up short. Dunham read it well. Steps up to regain possession for Atlanta. Streelman tries to touch that down the line for DeJaney. Just overhit. We'll get Madison Cruz's perspective pitch side here in just a bit. I think the intensity of the match is picking up. It's a final. Both teams maybe a little tight in the first 10-15 minutes, but that's opening up as we go.
One big save for each goalkeeper so far with those shots on target. That goes to show how evenly matched it is in this moment between these two teams.
Samuel in a challenge with Bain Smith. No foul called. Smith, the 19-year-old, he's headed to Kentucky in the fall. Quite a few of these Atlanta Academy players have either played or have been in regular training with Atlanta United 2 this year. One of those players is DeJaney. He's on it now. Drop back to Luzon. One more time to Dunham. Slips it through. Luzon able to turn into the 18. Left-footed shot wide. Took a deflection, so it's going to be a corner for Atlanta. And you mentioned it earlier, Jess, Noah Luzon has really shown up big today.
Let's see how close this opportunity is. Luzon picking up the ball and getting everything started in that middle of the park. On the half spin, drops his head, goes through one, goes through two, pulls the trigger. Referee says deflection onto the crossbar. Luzon is impressing me more by the minute.
That little half turn from Luzon, the body shape there to take that and take off quickly.
And the awareness, just that check of the shoulder to know your surroundings.
Dunham with the corner, gets all the way through. It's popped up. Atlanta trying to keep it alive, but Sumo with the interception. He'll be a one-man counter if he gets the opportunity. Has options down the left. Watson. Lanza able to get to it and pop it forward to Dunham.
Great read by Lanza there because Watson was looking to go direct.
Dunham with the big switch just over the head of Matthew DeJaney. Demise faked like that was going to go over the end line. DeJaney bit on the fake. KSA keeps it. Tiente. Samuel. Irving. Carr. Samuel now wants to turn. Has to go sideways. Dampfa. One more time to the right. Demise blocked. He'll get the second time. And the Suriname Youth International pops it forward. Here comes KSA. Sumo takes off and gets in behind into the 18. Wide of Barnett's goal. What a turn from Anthony Sumo, and you see his explosiveness, but he can't beat Owen Barnett this time.
It's electric from Sumo as we get another look at this close attack from KSA. Wait for that replay to come in shortly, but it was a great move by Sumo. But an underrated part of this play is the way that the Atlanta United defender just stays on his shoulder, doesn't commit a foul. We'll see it here. Sumo, with the turn of pace, gets around Atlanta United's defender in Ibarra, but Ibarra just stays present, doesn't commit the foul, but gradually on his shoulder. And I think with Sumo feeling that presence of Ibarra, it throws off the ability for the shot because he knows Ibarra's getting ready to make that contact.
Barnett plays the goal kick short to the left to Dunham. Back to Barnett. Back to Dunham. 24th minute into the 25th. No score yet. Both teams have had some decent looks. Hutzel. Back to Barnett. It's KSA with the high pressure this time around. Tiente unable to keep possession for his side. Assuming we will get a hydration break in the first half. Probably would be coming in the next few minutes. We'll talk to Madison Cruz down at field level then.
I would like a hydration break if
know.
I was playing. My lips are feeling a little dry even from talking, and we've got air conditioning apparently.
Allegedly. Luzon defending Sumo with multiple step overs, but Luzon able to knock it away from him. Streelman tries to take the quick throw, but the last touch was off of Luzon. Down the line. Sumo turns inside, cranks a left-footed shot well wide. If Sumo is in the boundaries of Gwinnett County, he will look for a shot with that left foot.
I was going to say that was a clear display of his confidence there. Turns around one Atlanta United defender, and from that level of distance wants to take the spin and strike. We'll get another look at it here. Receives the ball with his back to goal, skips through the challenge, winds up with the strike. Doesn't get his foot around it enough or a clean enough connection to test Barnett at all, but it shows the confidence of Sumo and how the team always needs to be alert to what he's going to try.
Streelman with a good ball into the middle to DeJaney. He turns, heavy touch on the turn. Carr tackles it away from him.
Good read by Carr, though, to connect.
Tiente passes behind Watson. Maybe that heat taking its toll a little bit on some of the quality.
And it's not just about the physical toll, it's also the mental toll. There's an exhaustion about playing in this heat. I know as a player, the many summers I spent playing on turf in Georgia, it gets in your head because it's uncomfortable, these conditions.
It affects your decision making. You're just distracted by how uncomfortable you are. Barnett over to Dunham.
They can't wait for the sun to set in the next couple of hours.
I think they might have found a cloud, at least for a little while. Switch looking for Akintobi. Carr wins the header instead. Watson double teamed, but he's able to get something out of it. Crafty from the former Liberian youth national team member Jabari Watson. Knocks it off of the former U.S. youth national team player Io Akintobi.
We do have confirmation from Madison Cruz pitch side that there will be a water break. Glad to see the guys will be able to get hydrated.
Our lobbying efforts were fruitful. Herlock turns, no foul called. Carr able to stop Herlock the first time around. Back to Akintobi, into the middle to Hutzel. Forward to Smith. Herlock, Luzon, Herlock. Back to Smith, shanks the shot. Hutzel will keep it alive. Herlock on the right. Inside to Luzon. Another good ball from Luzon. Smith hits the brakes, tries to leave it for Herlock. It's still there inside the 18. Hutzel, 25 yards out, blocked. Tiente pops it up into the air.
Ping pong ball around the 18-yard box, but KSA looking to come away.
Hutzel tackles it away. Luzon with a quick shot, pulled wide of the post.
It's chaotic would be the best word to describe that last phase of players. Atlanta United scrambling to get an opportunity on frame. KSA just getting bodies and bodies inside that 18 to make it difficult. We'll see this counter real quick as Atlanta United were able to regain possession. The strike from Luzon, never testing the keeper, dragging it wide.
And you just see that quickness of thought from Noah Luzon, able to play so fast because he knows exactly what he wants to do. KSA up the right side. Dunham steps in front of Sumo to win the header. Comes flying through. Thought there could have been a handball there. It's not called. DeJaney up the line.
Ooh.
Good turn. Streelman looking for the cross, but Playtez is there inside the 6.
Really nice play far side by Streelman, though. A couple of cheeky moves to fool the defender.
Samuel tries to go over the top. Barnett, top of his own 18, will gather it in as Tuamasi was making the run. Dunham picks out Luzon. Quickly turns. Drifts to the right. Dribbling into space, Noah Luzon. Slips it through. Herlock, it was behind him. And that's the one thing when you bring a player like Noah Luzon back into this group. He hasn't played with all of these players all that often.
And it can be tough to build that chemistry as the referee calls the water break. 0-0, but a good display of both these sides' resilience.
Let's see what Madison Cruz is seeing and hearing down on the pitch. If Madison, if you can hear me, let's get your thoughts on this first half.
Thanks, Jason. KSA only had one loss this season, and it was back in March against Potros, and they have been undefeated ever since. And one thing that Joseph Samuel said is that it was a wake-up call for them, that they needed to kick it back into gear and look at where they are now. They're in the championship. And looking back at Atlanta United, you guys mentioned how a lot of them have had a lot of professional experience with Atlanta United too. Well, Matthew DeJaney and Luke Hutzel actually trained with the first team this week on Tuesday. So they got some really good preparation gutting in to this championship match. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Maddie. I think that wake-up call is important, especially in a league like this, Jess, where, you know, the first division, the Premier Division, maybe it's a split between teams that are title contenders, and I think we saw it with 1 and 2 getting knocked out this season in the playoffs and the semifinals. But you have that split, and sometimes when you have a few games that aren't a real challenge, maybe the overall intensity level drops a bit.
Yeah, it can be difficult. It's a struggle when you have to adjust to the run of play, when you're facing adversity to bring it back up. And I think in this game, some of the intensity is struggling, not just because of the heat conditions, but also the mindset of being in a championship game for both these teams. KSA's been here. They've lost at a hurdle. And that can set in your mindset that you don't want to take too many risks, because what happens if you get caught out? And on the flip side for Atlanta United, with their lack of experience at this level, a lot of young players, there's a nervousness about you that you don't want to be the player that makes an error and costs your team a chance. So I think reluctancy to make a mistake is hindering the momentum a little bit in this game.
Yeah, and just that feel of a final. You know, the KSA players, you mentioned it, they have more experience being in these kinds of games. You do have some Atlanta United players who have been in these sorts of games, whether it's a U16 MLS Next Cup final. A couple of them have been in this sort of game, whether it's a semifinal, a quarterfinal at the league level. But a championship match, knowing that you can get into the national tournament, there's just a different level to this. KSA trying to play out of the back off of the goal kick. We'll see if any adjustments were made tactically.
If you'd been on that bench.
Oh, Herlock blocks that from Irving. It's still there. Playtez comes for it.
Ooh.
Tampa able to clear.
I was going to ask if you'd been on that bench, what would you have said?
Well, I would have said block that and do what you just did, Stephen Herlock. But no, I think it's this balancing act between dealing with the conditions, because you don't want to run yourself into the ground. Even though both teams have options off of the bench that can help them, you don't want to run yourself into the ground. And I always go back to the old adage in a final like this, you can't win it in the first 30 minutes. You can lose it, though. You can let the game get out of control, and you've got to be careful. I think both teams were.
I think if you've watched the Euros lately, you'll see it as well, with teams just trying to stay alive. Look at Slovakia.
Luzon turns. We'll talk about England in a little while.
We don't have to do
Akintobi
that.
with the cross to the back
I'm
post.
just saying, though, how important it is to stay alive in tournaments.
Yeah.
You saw it with Georgia, too. Obviously got blown out of the water in the end, but in a big game, in a knockout game, because this is a final, but it's also a knockout game because whoever loses won't progress into the national tournament. It's about staying alive. You can't give yourself too big of a mountain to climb. And I think both these teams will be disappointed to only be drawing. Of course, you want to get the lead, but it's better to be in a 0-0 game than it is to be trailing 2-0 with a big mountain to get back into.
KSA off of the goal kick short. Dunham knocks it down at midfield. Been really impressed with Braden Dunham so far. Turnover. Luzon couldn't hold it. Samuel comes away with it. Jabari Watson. Long run for Akintobi. Commits the foul. Going to be a card there. Yellow card to Io Akintobi. Going to be a senior at Woodward Academy in the fall. Kind of had to go in strong there as Watson had gotten in behind.
We'll get another look at the challenge here. It's one of those where when you see Watson head down driving, it's a smart foul. Is it a little cynical? Of course it is, but it's part of the game. It's part of being a professional, making the decision. It's better to give up a free kick here, allow your back line an opportunity to regroup, to set up, to defend, than it is to allow Watson a chance to break through free.
Yeah, anywhere outside of 30 yards, you'll take that foul. You'll take that card if you have to. Tiente very good with his service from set pieces, but he's 35 yards out. We're in the 35th minute here in Snellville. KSA hosting the Atlanta United Academy side. UPSL Georgia Premier Division Championship match. No score yet. Tiente with the right foot. Drives it over the bar, maybe trying to catch Barnett.
I think it was a shot. I think it's over-ambitious from that area, though. It's one of those high-level IQ strikes that takes 1 in a million to finish. If he scores it, he's world-class. But when you've sent up your big defensive line, when you've made them sprint full length of the field to get into a position, let them have an opportunity to run at this one and try and create a shot on target.
Atlanta trying to find space on the right. Bain Smith back to Lanza. Forward to Hutzel. Lanza. Came up through the inner Atlanta Youth Club. Good work from Lanza on the dribble. Luzon over the top. Bain Smith onside. Smith, deflected cross. Playtez will claim it.
Good work by Playtez there. Just as a goalkeeper, it bobbled up a little awkwardly, and he's able to grab it and reset. You see a bit of learning from TRA there, though. Did you see some hovering behind Playtez? Somebody was in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium last night.
I'll bet you they were. Probably heard us screaming on the radio like lunatics.
Can you imagine if Playtez had put the ball down there?
I might have had to leave the booth.
I'm
If
glad
that
for
happens
Hey,
again.
I'm Team GK Union, and all I'm going to say is boys in net. Check your shoulders. Come
Yes.
on, guys.
Yeah, I felt really bad for Luca Gavrin. Atlanta back on it in the attacking half. Smith twists and turns, but can't find any space. Ibarra now. Forward, DeJaney. Able to make the turn and draw the foul.
Referee deemed DeJaney to have the ball rolling as he looked to reset it backwards towards his teammate there. Blows the whistle. It'll be a reset from the free kick now.
Hutzel will take it. Able to pick out Luzon. Luzon bodied off of it. I think he had already lost it, but he's going to get the call. It was a very heavy challenge after the heavy touch. And Luzon has fouled free kick Atlanta.
And I think what's confusing the KSA players that are surrounding the referee is what he was looking for. There was never going to be an advantage for Atlanta United. The delay in blowing the whistle is what causes KSA's frustration in this moment because they were countering in the other direction. If it had been more of a 50-50 ball that may have dropped towards an Atlanta United jersey, you understand the referee waiting to see if an advantage is there. The delay is what causes the frustration because KSA think they've got away with it. And now they have to reset with a very dangerous free kick opportunity. 3-player wall from this distance, though, says to me that they've watched some footage of Atlanta United striking free kicks dangerously.
Just outside of 30. Luke Hutzel will take it. Hutzel going to leave it. Dunham will take it. Chips this into the back post, looking for Akintobi. Irving wins the header. Dunham tries a second time, but it's slammed back into the attacking half. It was an awkward sequence all the way around, but KSA dealt with it well.
Yeah, it's well defended. It's an awkward little chip that can be difficult to generate power on to get a convincing clearance away because there isn't a lot of velocity on the ball. KSA's defenders do well and just give it a big boot clear to just allow them an opportunity to reset. Again, games have momentum. Atlanta United feel like they've had the lion's share of the last 10 minutes or so.
The winner of this will play the winner of Charlotte FC and the Charlotte Soccer Academy. You might have some allegiances there.
No comment.
It's kind of a similar situation we'll talk about as we go to these two teams in a lot of ways. Atlanta in the attacking half. Lanza, Akintobi. Just over 20 yards out. Good ball forward. Luzon on the right now. Left-footed cross deflected. Lanza tries to win it back, does not. Watson rides off the challenge. Into the middle, but not on the same page. Streelman will run it down for Atlanta. Plays it forward to DeJaney. Now Smith. Now back to Streelman. Back to Smith, 20 yards out, looking to load up the right foot. Trying to loop around. And the foul is called on Smith. Not quite sure what that call was.
I didn't think it was a foul in favor of Atlanta United there. I think that's just a soccer player challenge, a 50-50. But to blow the whistle and award it in the opposite direction is what has thrown me. We'll see if we get a replay at some point to make a bit more of a clarification on it. But
yeah, maybe felt like the arms were out. I don't know. I thought KSA had possession, could have just let that ride. Watson skips through two. Into the middle, Tiente with a lot of space in front of him. Chips it back across to Kalonji. Unable to bring that down and shoot. Ibarra pounced on it and cleared.
How many big tackles is Ibarra going to have in this game, though?
Good ball from Akintobi to Herlock. Herlock 1v1 with Irving. Cross to the back post, just overhit. DeJaney was crashing into the six.
But what a great transition and speed of play from Atlanta United to turn a fantastic tackle from Pablo Ibarra into a promising attack. He crunches through the ball and is able to get a service up, and instantly Atlanta United looking to transition up the pitch to create.
Turnover on the far side. Smith tackled away. Last touch off of the defender, Dampfa. Going to be a corner for Atlanta United on the far side.
Great commitment from Bane Smith there on the touchline. Gets the high five from his teammate for his hard work and bravery to earn the set piece. And as we're ticking towards halftime, Atlanta United want to capitalize a little bit more on these set piece opportunities. If there's one area I think they've disappointed themselves in so far, it's been choice of service from set pieces. Free kicks have left a little bit to go a beg. Here they want to make sure the in-swinging service is perfect.
42nd minute. It is an in-swinger from the far side. Played to the back post, headed away, and needed to be by Carr. I think it was Luzon just waiting on that back post.
It's a great service in by Luke Hutzel there. Puts it into a dangerous area that makes the defender forced into making a decision. It's just flicked out for a rerun of this corner from the opposite side now.
Will be another in-swinger as Dunham comes over to take it. The left-sided center back in the trio comes over to the right to take this corner. We've seen Dunham's quality on set pieces already. Last time to the back post. Same here. Herlock tries to win the first header. It's blocked. Corner now back to the left for Atlanta.
They say third time's a charm. Atlanta United will be certainly hoping that. That last service, though, so intriguing because the way he approaches the ball doesn't seem like there's going to be that much power, and then he just kind of chips it, but it's not a floaty chip. It has power. It's an incredible range of service that would be so helpful for a forward because it's got enough power on it that you only have to add a little bit with your headed finish, but it's also not coming at you in a loopy way.
Luzon runs this one down. He's a short option here for Hutzel if Atlanta wants to try something different. Dunham also lurking just outside of 20 yards. Kalonji sees that. Played into the six. Header pops straight up. Kalonji wins the first header. Two KSA players crash together. Atlanta finds the ball. Hutzel tripped up. No call. Looked like he was tripped up unless he tripped himself.
It doesn't make sense why Hutzel would go to ground there in an attacking area, and that's just where you wonder what's the call. And again, it's been given as a KSA. It is a throw. Okay, I was going to say, if you've given a free kick there, that one's baffling. But that all started from KSA's lack of communication with two defenders going for the same ball. That's not something you expect with the level of experience in this KSA side.
Happens in the heat like this. Again, just bad decision making. You lose that one little bit of focus, and things can happen. But KSA gets away with it that time. They're into the attacking half now. Samuel hits the brakes 40 yards from goal. Tiente. Back to Yosef. Back to Tony. He'll go back to Irving. Samuel and Tiente have not had as many touches as I thought they would coming into this one. Overhit there from Yosef Samuel. Throw Atlanta on the far side.
All eyes on the AR on the far side, getting his board ready with how much stoppage time there will be. The number is 3. We'll see if there's any opportunity for another chance to be created before the end of the first half.
Getting it a little early, too. 3 minutes for that hydration break, mostly. Back to Barnett. It's felt like a final. It's felt like two teams, you mentioned it, not wanting to make an early mistake.
But what's an intriguing part of the mindset is, when do you start to not worry about that mistake and just think that the risk of making a mistake is less than the risk of not taking an opportunity? There's a point where you have to make a gamble because the risk versus reward, the reward is far greater.
Hutzel gambles and steps up to intercept. DeJaney into the 18, shot blocked. Atlanta player down off the ball. Bain Smith went down. DeJaney went down at the end of that sequence.
It's a decent crowd filling in here as well at Shiloh Stadium as you get a glance around. Good to see the level of support for both these players. And in these sorts of conditions, you need that second win from your fan base to root you through to the end of the half.
Lots of friends and family for both sides. This is KSA's home stadium. Throw in from Akintobi to DeJaney. Up the right side, Herlock can't dribble past Carr. But Carr can't keep it on the near side. Going to be a throw for Atlanta. Into stoppage time now, maybe 2.5 to play. Akintobi going to back up onto the track to launch a long throw. To the near post, flicked on. Not kept though, Sumo. Tackled away from Sumo. Hutzel with a nice challenge. Herlock crossed in, nobody home. Dampfa heads it straight up. Dunham will run it down, loads up the left foot. It's blocked. Smith now in the 18. Shot wide of the far post. Atlanta just kept that alive, but the shot from DeJaney at the end of it flashes wide.
But it all starts with the bravery of Dunham in that strike because he knows he's going to get clattered. We'll get another look at that here. Dunham goes into the strike. Physical challenge pops up favorably. Quick thinking from Atlanta United, just dragging it a little wide. Playtest watches that all the way far of his near post.
We'll even go back a step before where Sumo tried to dribble it out to start the counter, and Luke Hutzel with a perfectly timed challenge.
It's been a game of big tackles. That's been the highlight reel today.
Lanza under pressure from Kalonji, has to concede the throw. About a minute 20 here. We take another look at the cross from Herlock and that whole sequence from before. KSA in possession in the attacking half. Akintobi knocks it away. Tiente long range shot, pulls it wide.
Set up perfectly for Tiente there. Had a little bit of green grass in front of him. Was always going to go for the strike. I think his body shape last minute closed off a little bit and he dragged it wide. Just needed to open his hips a little bit more to help that one towards frame.
Seconds remaining in first half stoppage time. No score here in Snellville. Maybe time for one more opportunity. Owen Barnett will play it long. Samuel wins the aerial duel. Tiente over to the right side. Down the line, sliding challenge. Ibarra, another good tackle from him. KSA throw.
Ibarra's going to be feeling it tonight with that turf burn, but it's well worth it right now for him. He's put in 3 crunching slide challenges that he's timed perfectly to prevent any promising KSA attack.
We're past the 3 minutes. KSA throws it backwards. Dampfa into the 18, caught by Barnett, and that will do it for the first 45. No score. Lots of interesting things between these two teams. Jess, what's your take?
That it's a final, and both these teams got into the halftime break in a deadlock. They'll both be disappointed that they haven't made more of the opportunities they've had. We've seen one big save from each of the goalkeepers so far. It's going to be who's the bravest in this second half. 45 more minutes. Someone needs to step up and grab this game by the scruff of the neck and say, we're not going to worry about the risk of taking that chance. We trust in our own individual ability on the pitch to turn the screws.
We're going to take a quick break and get rehydrated ourselves. Stay with us on the ASMG YouTube channel. You'll be able to see the first half highlights on a loop. We'll be back shortly to talk about it. No score between Atlanta United and KSA Pro Profile.
Hey coach, is your game going to be live streamed? Can't find a broadcast partner? I have the solution for you. It's time to contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group. The Atlantic Soccer Media Group will provide you with the most extensive live coverage and affordable rates to bring your club's matches to your fans. So they will never miss any of the action.
Good ball laid off to that far side. Shot ripped. It's in! Dalton United at the death of the game! They go ahead, and this stadium is sent to raptures.
And bring them along with you as you raise the trophy.
Gentlemen, say it with them. They are the champions.
So what are you waiting for? For the best and easiest coverage, national exposure, attract sponsors, interact with your fans, work with scouts from around the world? Contact the Atlantic Soccer.
Welcome back to Shiloh High School, where KSA and Atlanta United are currently tied 0-0. I'm Madison Cruz alongside Jessica Chairman. Jess, we talked a little bit about how both of these sides are a little bit anxious or a little nervous to try and create some plays or get some shots on goal. Who are you anticipating that's going to come in and really make an impact in the second half?
Yeah, I think it's vital for both these teams to be a little bit braver. It is a final, and somebody's got to be the hero. And I think for Atlanta United, if you're looking for a hero, you're going to look at Matt DeJournay just because of the experience he has at the professional level. We've talked about his impact at Atlanta United too, the fact he's regularly training with the Atlanta United second team. Expect to see him get on the ball a little bit more with that clinical touch. And for KSA, I want to see more of Watson. I think that he's been very dynamic on this left-hand side for KSA, transitioning the ball up the pitch, but he hasn't had the end product as of yet. If KSA can get him on the ball, they can look to create more opportunities in front of net.
And even just being down there with the way it's been distributing back and forth, both of these sides are trying to facilitate something, but just either someone isn't in the right place at the right time, or if they are going to try something, maybe they're a little hesitant, so then they drop back and they bring it forward. What would be your advice to those players driving forward and trying to get something going?
Yeah, it feels like they're always a half inch away from something miraculous happening, whether it's a dragged shot that misses narrowly wide of the post, whether it's a miscommunication that sees the 1-2 not quite be executed properly. I think communication is where this game starts. We've seen a little bit of uncharacteristic miscommunications in both these back lines with the way that they are handling the play. Start by talking, start by communicating, and then the body will follow. And Jason Longshore and myself both talked about the heat playing a condition in the mental side of the game. When you're talking, when you're communicating, it helps keep yourself switched on. And if you're switched on, you're going to be more clinical in those moments of connectivity.
Only a couple minutes away from kicking off the second half here at Shiloh High School. We'll be right back on the ASMG network here on YouTube.
Welcome back to Shiloh High School, Charlie Jordan Field here in Snellville. No score between Atlanta United's Academy side and KSA Pro Profile. It's the UPSL Georgia Premier Division Final for the spring of 2024. Alongside Jessica Charman, I'm Jason Longshore, and Jess, it feels like this one could pick up another notch here in the second 45, as we can't even get the kickoff quite timed right here. But it feels like this is going to take another notch up now that the temperatures have cooled down just a bit.
Yeah, as the sun heads behind the clouds, it feels a lot better for both these teams to raise the tempo in the match. And I also think having the opportunity to regroup, have those team talks, talk about what they want to bring to the table will change the effectiveness of the attack.
Anthony Sumo into the corner, back on the left foot, curls one wide of the far post. And again, if Anthony Sumo can even feel the goal somewhere inside the county lines, he's shooting. That's a shot from Sumo from out wide on the flank.
And actually, if it was probably 5 yards further back, this one might curl into that bottom corner. We'll get another look at it here as he cuts back onto that left foot, teases the defender, heavy touch, whips his boot around the ball. Good work by Owen Barnett, though. The awareness of his goal to just pull his hands up and say, that one's going wide.
Atlanta throw. They're moving from right to left as we're kicking it for another 45 from Snellville. Luke Hutzel will take the throw. KSA trying to turn. Demise.
These faint gray lines are causing a few issues, though, for the guys, not realizing when it's in play. It is a struggle, but it's part of the game at this level. You have to adjust to the ability of the field you're playing on, and it's different.
That middle third where there's the extra white box that is part of the American football field, that's what's definitely throwing them off. Sumo into the middle, Samuel to the left. Tuamasi, 25 yards out. Wanted to come back to the right, wasn't on. Has options out wide. Watson headed away by Dunham. Atlanta able to clear. DeJaney gets to it. Tried the 1-2 with Herlock, but they're not quite on the same page. Possession again for KSA. Carr up the left side. Taken away from him, but not kept. Tiente. Damfa. Sumo. Defended by Streelman, or by Hutzel. Sumo with a step over. Spins back to the left foot and just misses the far upper 90. Anthony Sumo starting to calibrate that left foot and cause Atlanta some problems.
And it's almost cookie cutter of the move he tried on the previous stripe, but this one so much closer. Get a look as he lures the defender in. The defender looks to stab a little bit towards him, and then he's able to cut back here, gain a little space, whip his boot around it, and that did not miss by much. Sumo getting closer and closer to breaking the deadlock.
It was Streelman there defending. He got spun. Dunham was there as well. But Sumo nearly opened the scoring. It's been all KSA to start the second 45. Demise. Back across. Carr going to carry forward. Tiente. Good ball back across to Damfa, who joins the attacking half. Tried to play Sumo in, intercepted by Dunham. Great ball forward by Dunham. DeJaney has Herlock through the middle. DeJaney might not need him. Can't get the shot off. Kamani Irving with a big defensive play. Corner Atlanta.
This is an incredible recovery from Irving here, though. He's backpedaling. He's checking his shoulders. He's caught between two minds because he can see the run in between himself, but he's able to stab last minute and get a touch away to knock it out for the set piece. Irving able to work back and recover really well.
You spotted that so well, Jess, because he looped back and he prevented DeJaney from playing Herlock, But then when DeJaney took a look down, Irving committed and knocked it away.
He lured DeJaney into that full sense of security that he was trying to cut off the pass. And then, as you mentioned, DeJaney's getting ready to pull that trigger, and Irving's able to just scoop it away. Great defending.
Great work from Kamani Irving. Corner Atlanta. Hutzel will take it. Near post this time.
Did we just see 2 attempted bicycle kick clearances?
I believe so. There was at least 1 clear attempt. And I think the player is feeling the effects of it.
We'll get
Denise,
another look
I
for
believe.
confirmation on this replay as we see the in-swinging corner set up.
Hutzel went near post.
Okay, so there's a definite bicycle kick attempt, and then the other player just gets absolutely whammed. He is okay, but innovative, we can call a bicycle kick clearance attempt?
I think Tiente went for the bicycle kick clearance. Demise was the one who got waylaid. And now Atlanta will have a throw in the middle third. 51st minute, no score as of yet. Anthony Sumo has had 2 very close situations. Did not test Owen Barnett. Barnett's on the ball now. Up the left side, DeJaney heads it into the middle to Herlock. Herlock brings it down eventually. Tries to cut it back, does, but he runs into Tony Tiente. Tiente with the big switch. Run down by Watson. Lanza defending. Right-footed shot into the roof of the net. Goal, 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 KSA. And they open the scoring in the 52nd minute.
It's a fantastic finish from KSA's Wilfried Camden. An absolute rocket off of the boots as he cuts around the defender, says why not, and buries it into the top 90.
That's what he is capable of, wearing the number of Jabari Watson on the roster we were given. And when he hits a shot like that, he reveals himself very clearly to us, as you've seen that kind of a goal many times from Wilfried Camden.
And I think what's special about Camden is he's able to go extended periods without touching the ball. He'll fall silent in games and almost lure opponents into a false sense of security. But when he gets on the ball, he has that killer instinct and confidence combination that can have a moment of magic like that.
Dunham fouled. He was tripped up. Some afters there with Kalen Kalonji.
You see a color of red.
A red card? Braden Dunham is shown a red card, and there was very, very little in that.
We haven't seen the referee go to his pocket in this match, and then he draws a red. We'll get a look at what happens here. Dunham is chopped down. He gets up.
That's not a red.
He raises his arm, and then the player sells the contact. I don't even think there is contact there with the flop. But what the referee has seen, and the AR is closest. The AR should be the one saying this right here, right now, that there wasn't enough contact. He puts the forearm up and leans in towards the KSA player, perhaps gives a decision an opportunity to be made. But the level of contact, the level of malice just isn't there. Jason, we'll get another look and allow you a chance to break this one down.
So Dunham takes the touch through. He gets tripped up, took exception to the challenge, and it's just a little shove. There's really nothing in it. A yellow card, fine. But now that's completely changed this match as Braden Dunham is sent off. Former teammate Kalen Kalonji was the one who went to ground. I don't think he's even really trying to fool the referee there. It's just a little shove. He sits down, and the yellow card is not shown. It's a red instead.
Is the referee looking at the contact, thinking it's hand to head, and because it's towards the head, that's why he's gone back pocket?
If he is, the AR has to say something, because the AR could see the whole thing right in front of him.
Just wasn't enough level of contact.
Not in the final.
And as you see Dunham making the long walk round to the pitch, your heart goes out to him, because this is not the way that his game deserved to go, and now a goal down and the player down. Atlanta United with that mountain they've avoided trying to climb, getting that much steeper.
Throw KSA. We'll see how Atlanta readjusts. Crossed in, back post, volleyed away. Atlanta United now with 10, 1-0 down. DeJaney slides in, can't win it. Here comes KSA back into the attacking half. Streelman, who's tucked inside now. He chests that down. Luzon, good first touch. Noah Luzon shifting through the gears, as DeJaney. Herlock now. Down the line for Luzon. Unable to turn inside, but he draws the throw.
But if anything, that red card has put a spring in the step of this Atlanta United side, who want to get a result for Braden Dunham and get him some justice from what feels like a dubious decision to put them down to 10 players. For Atlanta United, though, it's going to be about picking their moments now. It's going to be a tiring ride. You've got a good 30-plus minutes, 35 minutes, playing a player down. You're a goal down. Pick your moments.
Akintobi with the throw, gets it back. Cross to the back post, headed away. Streelman gets to it. Hutzel. Ibarra. Seamus Streelman. Down the line, a good ball. Bane Smith. Cut back. Cleared at the top of the 6. Streelman brings it down. Left-footed shot, save Playtez at the near post.
It's a great look with the strike there, not too far off the mark. Playtez, too hot to handle at his front post, just scoops it away, two-handed push as we get another look back at this strike. Streelman takes it down, looks up, and winds up the strike, catches Playtez off guard a little bit there. I think the keeper will be disappointed that he gave up a corner from that opportunity.
In-swinger from the near post. Playtez gets a hand to it. KSA able to clear, this time for a throw.
Look, Playtez is not always the goalkeeping book of technique, but he keeps it out of the net, and the number one mark of a success of a goalkeeper is preventing your opponent scoring on you. But the technique in my heart feels a little bit sore some of these ways he's punching it away.
Maybe not the recommended approach.
It lacks orthodox, but it's effective.
Throw in Akintobi. Herlock. Akintobi. Drops it back. Landon Zuniga checked in for Bane Smith. Ibarra. Streelman. Atlanta reloading down the left now.
And Braden Dunham's just been told he can't sit on the bench, and he's going to have to walk all the way around.
Demise through the middle. Barnett late to it. Sumo, goal, goal, goal KSA. That makes it 2-0 in the 58th.
And Sumo slots it into the back of the net to double the lead and give a cushion towards KSA. Quick transition up the pitch and an empty goal for Sumo to slot it in. We'll see how this is created. It all starts with a good read and steal forwards. The long slotted pass. Goalkeeper has no option but to come off of his line, and Sumo just about manages to stay onside and slots it in. Where I'm confused about the offside is goalkeeper comes out.
Yes.
Are there two players between? And I think the referee or the AR may have been thrown here by the goalkeeper coming out.
Luke Hutzel and Seamus Streelman both came over. Hutzel having a conversation with the referee now. The referee did come over to talk to the AR, but it looked like the attacking player Sumo was ahead of the ball and also not with two players behind him.
We'll get a look at another replay in a moment. Here it is, and we'll break this one down because a lot of the time it's confusing. The goalkeeper comes off his line. Are there two players between here?
I think Sumo's a step ahead of the ball, and I don't think there were two back there. It's very close. KSA looking for a third now.
And Atlanta United will feel like decisions have gone against them here.
Sumo looking for a third. KSA so dangerous when they have the momentum in matches. Usually 1 goal or 2 start to mount quickly, and the Avalanche can be on.
And then the mental component for Atlanta United right now. We talked about the youth, and it's not to take away from their resilience of their fight. But when you face this adversity, when you felt like you've been given an unfair red card, when you feel like there's been a second goal that probably was offside, it starts to get in your head. And I think for Atlanta United right now, it's about remaining focused as another yellow card is flashed, this time in the direction of Lanza. Atlanta United just has to remain composed and do their best to keep this game as close as possible and pick their moments to attack forwards.
It's very tricky, and you're right. They're going to feel aggrieved about the red card and about that second goal a little bit. Lanza commits the foul there, and the referee immediately ran to him to drop the ball and then showed him the yellow card for delaying the restart. Inside of 30 yards, free kick on the far side. 61st minute, 2-0 KSA. Cleared. Atlanta trying to find the handle, but unable to do so. Good moves down the right side by Demise. Demise fouled. Free kick KSA.
Heating up a little bit, though, and the fan base is now playing their role. You hear as the fans jeer, the referees make decisions, and I think both teams getting a little frustrated. We'll see the foul here that's given by the AR right on top of the foul.
There's history between these two teams, and these matches have occasionally gotten very chippy, very physical in both ways.
I think the part that surprised me, as I talked about, is there weren't yellow cards shown before the red card. So to go that quickly to a red card feels out of tone from a referee that let a lot flow.
Tiente with the free kick. Headed away at the top of the 6. Volley from Yosef Samuel. Sliced that one off the outside of the foot. Goal kick. It's 2-0 KSA, 62nd minute here in Snellville as we take another look at Yosef Samuel's volley.
Tiente with an outswinging free kick. It's confidence from Samuel. Just whiffs at it last minute and sends it pretty far wide.
That's the shot that you take with a 2-0 lead. Atlanta trying to go direct over Herlock's head. He'll continue to chase. It's back to Plaitez. Plaitez, Damfa, intercepted by Luzon. Luzon into the 18. Bodied off the ball by Tony Tiente. Good defensive run. The arm was up high. Luzon stayed on his feet. That's one of those, Jess, where attacking players, I like when they stay on their feet.
It's when you're punished for being honest.
Yeah,
you're punished from being honest. Luzon wants to stay on his feet because he thinks he's going to get a striking opportunity. You see it here. It's a straight arm push, and you've seen them given if the player goes to ground and sells it. Luzon, though, creating opportunities, and he's a player that needs to get on the ball more if Atlanta United are going to be able to cut this deficit.
Still a lot of time. Hutzel low to the near post. Tiente missed on the first opportunity. Laid off. Zuniga saved by Plaitez, and he held on to it as Herlock wanted the rebound.
This is a great save from Plaitez because it comes at him through traffic. He won't see this till the last minute, but he's able to react well down to his left-hand side.
Plaitez over the top to Sumo. Ibarra comes across and gets decked by Sumo. Going to be a throw for KSA.
Sorry, Ibarra wasn't happy with the way that Sumo threw him to the ground after the slide challenge, and I don't blame him in that moment.
It's going to be a throw on the near side for KSA. We're looking back at the opportunity from Zuniga. It was a good save from Plaitez, and maybe better even to hold on to that rebound because it almost spun out of his hands. Driven across, Streelman brings it down. Hutzel wants to start the counter for Atlanta. Luzon back inside to Luke Hutzel. Lanza back to Barnett. 2-0 KSA. Barnett Hops over Herlock. DeJaney will chase. It'll be played back to Playtez. Scuffs it over to Damfa. Up the right side, Demise. Damfa clears.
Impressed with Atlanta United's resilience, though, and the way that they're continuing to press high, even with one player down, looking to thruster the KSA back line a little bit.
They're not sitting back to try to extend this as long as they can at 2-0. Trying to find an answer. It's going to be hard to keep possession at times. Samuel on it now. Scooped forward. Wilfred Camden. Low cross. Sumo wants to turn. Shot deflected in front. Corner is given.
And Sumo wanting to double his tally in this moment as he looked to spin just inside the 18-yard box and snatch a shot away. We'll get another look at how close this one is and where the deflection takes place. Sumo with the player just directly in front of him, glances off as he strikes it. But again, you talk about Sumo's confidence when it comes to pulling the trigger, and he's certainly looking to add to his tally tonight.
Streelman reacted well because I think everybody here in the stadium thought Sumo would go left. Actually went to the right foot that time. Tuamasi with the outswinging corner from the near side. Back post over everyone's head. It'll be an Atlanta throw on the far side.
You saw the reaction from him there, the frustration in that moment.
Throw in behind Herlock. Big switch to Sumo. Sumo tries to split two. He's going to earn a corner. Streelman and Luzon there defending Anthony Sumo. Corner KSA, 67th minute.
You're seeing the subs for KSA warming up far side as they look to unleash a little bit more energy on the pitch. Be interesting to see how Bruno Kalonji executes those substitutes.
Outswinging corner, Tony Tiente to take. Header popped straight up, mistimed on the leap corner, or goal kick Atlanta.
Yeah, just caught the player off guard a little bit as it came at him. Times the jump all wrong, sends it miles away.
I believe it was Damfa who just mistimed it. Streelman. Barnett. Hutzel. Luzon. Skips past Demise. Luzon trying to take off through the middle. Tiente got enough of that and had Samuel to back him up. Samuel. Tiente. Back across to Irving. Carr. Wilfred Camden double teamed. Able to get through it. And the foul's called on Camden. Substitution, Io Akintobi's day is done. And Italo Jenkins checking in for Atlanta.
Just looking for a different point of attack in this moment, switching up the center forward as they look to go direct to chase this game a tad.
Yeah, kind of going to a front three now. Zuniga just dragged to the ground by Tiente. Shocked that's not a yellow card with the way the cards have been flying in the second half.
Did see what looks like the referee assigner down in front of us asking, or an Atlanta United parent, I believe, asking about it. He was saying that the AR was the one that flagged for the red card.
He's the closest one to it, but we do have the benefit of replay. I'll leave it there. Atlanta trying to play it through Zuniga. Zuniga is upended after the play, and what's it going to be here? Because Atlanta United players crowding the referee, and it's only a yellow. It's Kalen Kalonji who commits the foul.
We saw the reaction from Hutzel, just doing that gesture of his studs are flashing. We'll get a look at this foul here.
And it's very late. No intent to play the ball there.
I think the yellow is the right call in this moment because the studs aren't exposed and the height of the challenge. Those are the two things that they're mainly looking for in that moment. And the height of the challenge and the studs being down is what helps the KSA player stay on the pitch.
It's going to be a free kick on the far side. 70th minute. Luke Hutzel to take this. 25 yards out. Delivered to the near post. One hopper. Playtez can't handle it, but he finds the rebound after a deflection.
And I thought Playtez had given a gift to Atlanta United there as he spills it a little bit in the initial take, but able to recover and bravely dive on it. He'll be encouraged by the fact his defenders responded quickly as well and got back in and behind to protect him.
KSA play it into the attacking half. Didn't get the run they were looking for. It's all the way back to Barnett. Herlock's moved over to the right for Atlanta. Jenkins down the middle. Luzon is the left winger, and DeJaney maybe playing off of Jenkins just a little bit as a second forward. Not really much of a shape here as Atlanta's got to find a couple of goals to level this one. Samuel heads it forward. Atlanta trying to find it. They do. Luzon drop back, gets it back. And the whistle's blown. And now a yellow card is shown to Tiente.
Keeping track of everyone that's on a yellow card because it feels like they've been shown pretty sporadically in the second half.
Yeah, most everybody's on a yellow card at this point.
If in doubt, they've got a yellow card.
Tiente was the one that in the transition foul a little bit ago could have gotten one. He gets it here. Joseph Samuel checking out for KSA. It's a free kick, Atlanta in their own half. Played long, won by KSA. I believe it's Momodou Jallo who checked in for KSA. Pressure from Atlanta, but they can't win it back. Damfa. Long ball for Twumasi. Able to cut it back inside of Hutzel. Daniel Twumasi. Over to the left side. Jallo. Jallo cuts inside. Shot blocked. Finds the second opportunity. Jallo tries again. Kalonji lays it off. Shot over the bar. Goal kick Atlanta.
And I'm impressed with the discipline of this back line for Atlanta United in these moments. You can face adversity. You're down a player, but they're very patient in their defending. They're not diving in. They're not stabbing. Here they frustrate KSA and force them to take those shots from distance. When you're seeing an opponent get the majority of their shots from outside the 18, that tells you a lot about the discipline and the shape of the back line.
Should be close to the second half hydration break. We'll check in with Madison Cruz at that time. Jenkins heads it down the right. Herlock able to save it. Herlock earns a corner.
And that's individual stick-to-itness by Herlock there, far side. Knows he doesn't have too much in terms of options inside the middle as not everybody's got it up with him in the run of play. So he plays it into the defender, earns his side a set piece. And set-piece service. We talked about the importance of set-piece service for Atlanta United in the first half, but now they're down a player. Even more imperative because it's a great opportunity to serve the ball into the box when you're not getting as many opportunities in the run of play.
Luzon will take this with the left foot. Drives it back post. Header over the bar from Jenkins. Couldn't get over it.
And you saw instantly in the reaction from Jenkins, he knows what a service that is. Finds himself inside that 6-yard box and heads it over the crossbar. Here's another look at that corner set piece. I said the service needed to be good, and they answered it with this serve. Goes right towards inside the 6, and Jenkins just gets underneath it and heads it over the bar.
Down the left side, Luzon can't run it down. We're into the 75th minute. 2-0 KSA. We're efforting to see if there will be a hydration break in the second 45.
Remember, we've just got to talk about how thirsty we are, and then we end up getting a chance.
Should be right around it. Usually it's 30 minutes
Hey,
into
our
the half.
producer's given us a banging screenshot on our screens right now, and it's pretty clear this is offside.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
thought
country
it was.
mile offside.
I thought it was, and yeah, that's goal number 2. That extends it. KSA would still be in the lead either way. Atlanta United, their academy side, trying to find a way back into this one. Demise. Atlanta playing with 10, the red card to Braden Dunham. KSA finding the open player. Jallo, right-footed shot. Barnett goes down and does not make the save. I thought he got a touch. It goes wide. That will be the hydration break there. So we're going to send it down pitch side to hear from Madison Cruz to try to get a feel for where this match is with about 15 minutes to play. KSA with the 2-0 lead. What you got, Madison?
Take a look at the video. Something happened on the right side.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you definitely mentioned it, especially going into halftime and in the first half we saw it. It's definitely a heated battle on the pitch right now. You have a lot of fouls, a couple of yellows, obviously with the red card to the Atlanta United Academy. But this is not something we're used to. You mentioned at the beginning, both of these sides, they've competed against each other before. They're always right behind each other when it comes to this conference, in particular in UPSL. The last meeting they had this season, KSA came out on top with a 4-0 victory over the Atlanta United Academy. So there's pretty dominant on the field. KSA is telling all their players to relax, keep it going, let things continue to roll, but don't force anything because you're up 2-0 right now. Atlanta United Academy head coach Steven Covino was telling his players to get up, keep pushing forward, and continue trying to get numbers in front of the ball and maybe hopefully find something in the back of the net. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Madison. It feels like if Atlanta does find one to cut this lead in half, that it could be a wild finish.
Yeah, it could definitely be one where Atlanta United is just throwing everything at the kitchen sink at it, but they need that goal to give them that little bit of belief. You need something to boost you, and with 15 minutes remaining, a goal would give Atlanta United the world of hope.
Kalonji checking out. As we try to get the subs, Daniel Twumasi also checking out for KSA. They bring on 2 replacements here for the last 15 plus. One of them we don't have a number for. And the other one is Antoine Perez.
Antoine Perez spent time at GGC last season, the Colombian.
Shot from KSA takes a deflection, but that takes the sting off of it. Barnett will gather it. Try to launch an attack quickly. Damfa volleys it away. Luzon with Sumo. Luzon able to poke it away. Zuniga trying to win it back. A handball is called as Zuniga was stepping through. Free kick, KSA. Damfa with the big switch. Let there be light. KSA into the 18. Heavy touch. Barnett will get it.
Great goalkeeping from Barnett to come in there. It can be difficult when you see a player running towards you. You've got to dive through the player, get the ball in hands. Does very well.
Back to Barnett. Up the right side to Herlock. Trying to turn into the middle and find some space. Stephen Herlock headed to Virginia in 2025. Hutzel with the big switch to DeJaney, brings it down. Carrying forward, but cleared by Irving. KSA keeping numbers up high. Ibarra battling for it. Could have been a foul there, not called.
Sometimes you get a little fortunate. Atlanta United hasn't had too much luck, so I think Ibarra won't mind that no call.
Taken off through the middle, sliding challenge, foul called.
I think it's Wilfred Camden.
It's Wilfred Camden who gets the yellow card.
We'll get a look on the replay monitor at the series of fouls. One on one end, wasn't given. Ibarra a little late on the play, but referee turned a blind eye, and immediately Atlanta United transitioning up the pitch with speed. Camden just catches a little bit there, and I think it's a fair call and a yellow card for breaking down the potential promising counter.
Yeah, DeJaney at speed. The landing was harder than the challenge itself, but DeJaney's back to his feet. 81st minute. Atlanta trying to start the comeback. They're running out of time. Luke Hutzel will take it. Hutzel with the through ball up the right side. Cut back, cleared. Still there. DeJaney blocked. Playtez will catch it.
Such a brave block by Grant Carr there, flying in front of the strike. The training ground move from Atlanta United was spectacular, though.
Atlanta wins it back. DeJaney out wide to the right, overhit. Another sub for Atlanta United. Jonathan Hernandez will check in. Seamus Streelman's night is done.
And it was tough for Streelman because in that first half, and when Atlanta United had 11 players, he was getting lots of opportunities to go forward. Unfortunately, after the red card, sacrificed a lot of his attacking prowess because he had to sit a lot deeper. I don't think we got to see the full extent of Seamus Streelman's ability because of the team sacrifice he had to make by playing a little deeper.
KSA give it away in their own half. It's knocked away. Demise delaying the restart. He'll go into the book. Yellows everywhere. Nobody's went bust yet with 2 yellows. Braden Dunham got a straight red early in the second half. Atlanta will throw it in the 83rd. Hutzel. Thrown in down the line looking for Jenkins. Popped up into the air by Demise. Jenkins trying to win it. It sits on the end line, spins away. Herlock pokes it away. Blocked clearance. Gonna fall to Luzon. He wants to get back to the left foot. He does. Luzon tripped up outside the 18. Doesn't get the call. Goal kick. And the frustration will, that's actually gonna be a corner kick. I think Luzon wanted the free kick. I guess he'll take the corner.
I think the referee got both wrong. It was either a goal kick or a free kick. Luzon gets chopped down, but Atlanta United with a good set piece.
Near post, headed away. I believe it was Irving on the near post who headed that one away. KSA trying to turn. Ibarra defending, sliding challenge. Another good one from Pablo Ibarra.
He has covered himself in glory tonight with the timings of his tackles there, put in a precarious situation 1v1. Gets it right or he would be in trouble.
Ibarra continued his run forward. Atlanta exposed. Here comes KSA looking for number 3. Sliding challenge. Barnett's able to make the save and it's cleared.
Brilliant from Barnett. Really, really good save. He's off balance and he's still able to send 2 hands up into the air and get a big parry away to stop that ball being goal bound.
And it's Matthew DeJaney who makes the long defensive run to clear it out of the 6-yard box.
Tell me you've been doing a lot of fitness training with the 2s without telling me. An incredible sprint, a phase of play where he recovers and never gives up on the play. And again, I talk about having the belief in your goalkeeper there. You've seen teams think their keeper's not going to save it. DeJaney trusts Barnett's going to get a touch on that.
Herlock down the left side. Gonna earn a deep throw for Atlanta. KSA substituted Demise. Atlanta will take this throw from pretty deep in the attacking third. Herlock gonna leave it. Hernandez will take it to Herlock. Back to Hernandez. Left-footed cross, back post, headed away, corner Atlanta.
Still time to shift things up and make for a very interesting finish if Atlanta can get a goal here from the set piece.
KSA substitution number 26. We don't have a name for that one either. In swinging corner, played to the back post, dragged down, but the foul is called on Atlanta. There was contact, and the KSA player who was going to ground grabbed the Atlanta player. They both go down. The referee calls the first contact. Goal kick, not really much of a complaint.
We'll see what's involved here as we get another look at the in-swinging corner. Just felt like he tripped over nobody. I think the play should have been allowed to continue.
Hutzel heads it back into the attacking half. 86th minute, Herlock. Herlock beats one, but can't beat Irving. Throw Atlanta.
Herlock has been so fluid in his positioning, those switching flanks and causing nightmares for defenders on both sides of the pitch.
Zuniga able to spin it back to himself. Wants to spin back to the right, taken away from him. Jallo up the left side. Switched into the middle. Looking for the shot, finding the space, but not finding the shot. Barnett claims it. Here comes Atlanta.
Atlanta have become the masters of the recovery run, though, defensively, able to get bodies back, even though they played with 10 players for the majority of this second half.
Luzon dribbling into the middle. Sumo chasing him. Luzon unable to find a teammate. Here comes KSA. Jallo taken away from him by Jenkins. Positions don't matter at this stage of the match. Here comes Italo Jenkins down the right to Herlock. Cross blocked. Herlock will try to turn it. He's going to get a throw instead.
You talk about the positioning. Atlanta United have defenders that are attacking, attackers that are defending. It's just about getting bodies into areas. And I think right now they're gambling, but they need to gamble a tad bit more because at the end of the day, this is a final, and a 3-0 is the same as a 2-0, so it's better to take those risks.
Luzon tries to flick it inside. KSA able to clear. They try to break. Jenkins wins it back. Cuts inside. Jenkins. Zuniga. It's a big save, Playtez.
Another great save from Playtez, who has certainly kept the clean sheet well, is able to collapse down to that left-hand side and react to make the save. But how good has Jenkins been for Atlanta since coming off the pitch? We'll get another look at that silky skills here.
Luke Hutzel drew a yellow card for his foul on Tony Tiente, but that little cutback from Jenkins was nice. And that's a tough save for Playtez on Zuniga.
It's a tough save because he's falling backwards and he's still able to get a good hand away from him. But Jenkins creates that out of nowhere with his work rate. And we talked about the fluidity of positioning. Jenkins might have come on as the forward, but he's had a clear role in defending and creating from defensive plays as well.
Free kick KSA a few yards inside the attacking half. It's the 89th minute. Would assume at least 3 or 4 in stoppage time. Big switch. KSA would love to find the third. The flag goes up. Not sure about that one, to be honest. Looked like it was a very late run.
And some ironic cheers from Atlanta United fans for the offside flag being raised, perhaps?
I think ironic is a good way to put it, yes. Barnett cuts it back to Hutzel. Hutzel will play long down the middle. Jenkins brings it down. What a first touch. Cuts inside. Has Dejaney. Dejaney harassed from behind and hit in the face in the sequence. The referee blows the whistle, but...
He blows the whistle signaling he's only stopping it because it's a head injury. At first. Now he looks like he may have given a foul.
don't really know.
Yes, back pocket. Front pocket. What's the difference?
I honestly have no idea
We'll
what
get
the
a look here
decision-making
to try and
process
break this down
was.
and see what contact there is. So Janey on the half spin gets caught.
Irving comes through with the arms swinging, and it is a foul outside the 18. That's the way this game's been called, and when you've had a red card one way for something that seemed less than that, it's a tough one to take, but that's what's been called. So it's a free kick for Atlanta. Lanza over it, 22 yards out. Can't really explain the rationale on the red-yellow decisions there. I honestly don't know. Lanza will take this with the right foot. Off the wall corner.
Get a look at the fourth official in a moment. He's a little later than he was in the first half with this number. Let's see what he puts up. 5 minutes. That will be encouraging for Atlanta United.
In swinging corner. Back post, headed away. Halfway cleared. Atlanta going to run it down. Hernandez turns, draws contact. Free kick Atlanta. We're running out of time now. 4 and some change to play in stoppage time. Hutzel will take the free kick. Herlock tries to head it on, but it skims off his head and out for a goal kick.
And Playtez is going to do what all goalkeepers do when they've got the lead and they're preserving their shutout, which is jog slower than you can possibly walk.
Really weird situation, though, because Matthew DeJaney took off to go run the ball down, and the referee stopped it. Now, I'm assuming this time will be added back on, but DeJaney started to run towards the ball, and the referee stopped it. And Atlanta players were a little frustrated by that. We'll see how that one goes. KSA going to play long. Ibarra wins the header. Tiente will slam it forward. No one there down the left. Barnett will save it. 92nd minute. Expecting to get to the 95-minute mark at least. Down the left now. Luzon tries to cut it back. Draws some contact and gets the foul.
I don't think he does get the foul.
Gets the throw.
And that's why the fans are up in arms, because it was a stiff arm push. You don't want to blame referees. You don't want them to be talking points. But the issue in this game is the referee has become a talking point. And that's where you've got an issue. It's not necessarily the individual fouls of their own. It's the consistency between them and the variance in what's been blown as a foul and what hasn't. In the first half, Jason, we were talking about a lenient game, letting a lot flow. And then it's been back and forth between lenient and then over the top.
Yeah, it's been hard to get a feel for where the decisions are going to fall. Herlock turns inside. Tackled away from him. Hernandez will keep it alive. Luzon. Crossed into Jenkins. Jenkins. Herlock spins to the left. Herlock draws 2, pops it back top of the 18, but doesn't connect. Clearing ball off the referee. That'll be a drop ball back to KSA.
And just what the referee didn't need in that moment.
Clearance from Dampa. Hernandez heads it back. Contact, no foul. Opportunity here for KSA. Goal number 3. Goal, goal, goal. KSA moving on to the national tournament.
And the cherry on the top for Anton Fuertes with the finish. It's an easy finish in the end as he comes through 1v1, but does really well to bend the ball into the back of the net past the on-rushing goalkeeper. And that the cherry on the top for KSA as they look to go into cruise control through into the national tournament for UPSL. But heartbreaks for Atlanta United, who have been resilient to say the least in this second half down a man.
Great composure from Perez there to slot that one home. Atlanta makes their last substitution. 5th minute. 3-0 KSA. Atlanta's played most of the second half with 10. Aldana slides in late. He will enter the match and have a foul called against him. Thought he might get a yellow card as a souvenir.
Would that be the quickest yellow card in UPSL history?
It'd be the quickest I've seen in a while. And that will do it. KSA Pro Profile, they win the UPSL Georgia Premier Division title. They are heading on to the national tournament. Perez put the match away for KSA with the stoppage time goal. Sumo got on the board as well. Wilfred Camden opened the scoring for KSA. And they end up with the 3-0 convincing win, and they move on to the national tournament where they will play a team from Charlotte, either Charlotte FC or Charlotte SA. Whoever gets through out of that side of the bracket.
And what a game it was in the second half. Things really stepped up a notch. 0-0 at halftime, but KSA, through the magic of Wilfred Camden, got the lead. That was the turning point in the game. And then, of course, an early red card in the second half just made the mountain so much greater for Atlanta United to climb. They were resilient, the youngsters, as they searched for their first ever UPSL championship, but it was not meant to be, and with their backs up against the wall, unable to prevent the quality of KSA shining through. Sumo with a goal, Perez with a cherry on the top. But I think when you see this scoreline, if you haven't watched the game, it doesn't tell the full story of the proximity of these two teams together. It was far closer in reality than the final score looks on paper.
Yeah, felt like a very competitive game. As you said, there was a red card in that second half. That changes everything. The second goal, we had to look at the replay that the referee crew did not, and it looked like it was one of those rare situations where the goalkeeper came out, didn't get to it, and there weren't two defenders behind Sumo as he's able to slot it home. Atlanta fought after that, a man down, 2 big saves to keep it 2-0.
In particular in one-on-one scenarios. I thought he was very good at coming down, closing angles and making big blocks. And I go all the way back to the first half when it was 0-0 and he made a huge save to push the ball away to prevent Atlanta United getting the lead. He gets the clean sheet, and anytime you have a clean sheet, it makes it a lot more difficult for the opponent to get anything from the game.
Stay with us here on the ASMG YouTube channel. We're going to catch our breaths for just a second, get reorganized, as you will see the trophy presentation, and you're going to hear from Bruno Kalonji and Anthony Sumo from the winners, KSA Pro Profile, your UPSL Georgia Premier Division champions for the spring of 2024. We'll be right back.
Hey coach, is your game going to be live streamed? Can't find a broadcast partner? I have the solution for you. It's time to contact the Atlantic Soccer Media Group. The Atlantic Soccer Media Group will provide you with the most extensive live coverage and affordable rates to bring your club's matches to your fans. So they will never miss any of the action.
Good ball laid off to that far side. Shot ripped. It's in! Dalton United at the death of the game! They go ahead, and this stadium is sent to raptures.
And bring them along with you as you raise the trophy.
Gentlemen, say it with them. They are the champions.
So what are you waiting for the best and easiest coverage, national exposure?
Welcome back to Snellville KSA Pro Profile. Moving on to the UPSL National Tournament as the UPSL Georgia Premier Division champions. Let's take a look at the national bracket. The finals August 9th through the 11th at Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, PA. The winner here, KSA Pro Profile, if you look down to the lower right, they will play the Mid-Atlantic champion. That match is tomorrow. It's Charlotte FC and Charlotte SA playing for the right to play KSA Pro Profile in the first round of the national tournament.
And as we talked about, it's a similar matchup to this one where you have some experienced players, you have some youthful players, a lot of academy products, an opportunity to shine. And obviously as someone that worked with Charlotte FC, got one eye on that one. And what an interesting matchup it will set up. I think KSA tonight showed their experience and their ability to control the tempo of a game.
KSA lifting the trophy. Kamani Irving, the captain, so strong in the back in keeping the clean sheet. He's lifted a few trophies before in his career with KSA Pro Profile. We're hoping to get Anthony Sumo and Bruno Kalonji up here in the booth to talk to our own Madison Cruz here in just a bit. Oh, and Henry Playtez, the goalkeeper with the clean sheet. So stay with us on the ASMG YouTube channel for an extended post-game show. KSA Kalonji Pro Profile, the winners will be moving on to the national tournament, trying to get to Pittsburgh and the national finals. KSA celebrating with the trophy. And just before we wrap up our portion of the night, let's talk a little bit about Atlanta United. They came up short here in the final. It's not the first time. This was a group that really wanted to get over that hump and get into the national tournament for the first time. Second half got away from them a bit.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow because I think they'll feel hard done by with some decisions that went against them in terms of putting it out of their reach. At a 1-0 ball game, 11v11, I think Atlanta United would have felt well within their rights that they were going to create. They still managed to create and force some very big saves out of Playtez in net for KSA during the game, even with that adversity. The bright news is that every player on that pitch continued with their identity. They didn't bunker. They didn't let their heads drop. They continued to inspire on the pitch and battle for a trophy. And that's a great sign about the culture of the team, but also the DNA of these players. And I have no doubt, having watched them on the pitch, that we'll be seeing them at all the different levels that we commentate in the future.
Yeah, with this group specifically, we have been part of Atlanta United 2's trip to Florida this week. If not for this match, we're going to see many of these players in college in the fall. Noah Luzon, Italo Jenkins will be headed back to their schools for their sophomore years. Bain Smith will be going to Kentucky. Luke Hutzel going to Furman. Braden Dunham will be joining Hutzel at Furman in the following season. And I do want to talk about Dunham real quick. It felt like he was on pace for a man-of-the-match kind of performance before that red card.
Yeah, it was a really tough one. It's hard because of the way that he played, the way that he battled, the challenges he'd made, the progressions up the pitch. And by losing a player, it's always going to be a negative when you go down a player, but to lose a player that was so pivotal to the progression on both ends of the pitch during the game, like Braden Durham, was a huge issue for Atlanta United.
So KSA Pro Profile, 3 goals in the second half to take the crown. Anthony Sumo, a player that we've gotten to know over the years, explosive with the left foot, had 2 great opportunities early on. But this KSA Pro Profile group with a few new additions, maybe a little bit different look, it feels like they have a little more balance than we saw last year in a final.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they were able to ride the waves of momentum a little better because they definitely had to face some adversity. There were definitely some moments where they struggled, but they were able to have the confidence in their own ability. And what impressed me about KSA was the way they turned the screw after the halftime break. The game changed after that halftime where they regrouped together, took more risk going forward. And I think there's a lot of players on this KSA side that will have issues for no matter what team they face.
Your champions, KSA Pro Profile, they're moving on into the national tournament to face a team from Charlotte. We're not sure which one. That match will be tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed to the ASMG YouTube channel to follow this KSA team on into the national tournament. But stay with us tonight. Celebrations going on the field. Our own Madison Cruz will have interviews with Henry Pleitez, with Anthony Sumo, and with Bruno Kalonji from up here in the booth in just a bit. But signing off for now, for Jessica Charman, I am Jason Longshore. KSA Pro Profile, 3-0 your winners over Atlanta United to win the UPSL Georgia spring title.
All right, welcome back to the post-game show here on ASMG. I am here with goal scorer Anthony Sumo. I mean, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
a
you
huge
so much.
win for
Thank
you
so
guys.
much. I'm grateful.
I want to touch a little bit on your season as a whole. Only one loss, and it was back in March.
Yeah.
And we talked to Joseph Samuel a little bit. He said that was the turning point for you guys. What were those conversations like heading into the rest of the season after that loss?
First of all, before I say anything, I just want to say all thanks, glory and thanks to God. He got us this far because there's a lot of ups and downs. In practice, in the locker room, it took us a long way to get here. There's a lot of ins and outs behind the scene, and we just had to work and come together and practice really hard. Every day in practice, blood, sweat, and tears. And we're family, we're brothers. we're going to fight to the end. And I think God got us this far because we always praying, we always put God first. So thanks to him.
What is that camaraderie like between you guys? You mentioned that it's a brotherhood.
Yeah.
What is it like to have that close bond that you guys do have with each other?
We're family. We're family. It's our coach, Coach Bruno. He brought us together as a family, and we've been playing together for a very long time. And our commitment to the club, like I give everything for this club. They've done so much for me, and they brought me so far. And I'm just grateful to be this far. And all thanks to him. We played together for like 2 or 3 years, as far as you guys know. So we just work for each other. But all thanks to Coach for bringing us this far, and God first.
All right, I want you to walk me through. You're on the pitch.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
ma'am.
the time before you get that scoring goal right there on your left foot.
Yes, sir.
What's going through your mind?
I knew I was going to score, but I didn't know how. So I was just trying to be in the right place at the right time, because that's football. If you're in the right place at the right time, of course you're going to get the goal. I remember I tried 2 from the outside and it went wide, and I was like, what am I supposed to do to score? Because I put all my effort into that one. But I was like, I'm just going to stay focused, stay locked in, and try to get the ball in the back of the net. And I was in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. Well, my last question for you. Moving forward, you're going to be facing off against a Charlotte team. We don't know which one yet. We won't find out till tomorrow. But looking at this game, you'll take it in tonight. But moving forward, what are your takeaways from this match? And moving forward to the rest of the tournament, what needs to be done in order for you guys to get to the end?
We really focus on ourselves, on our team, because we don't care about who we play. We trust in our abilities and the things we do in practice every day. So we just go and give our 100%, give 100% every time. It don't matter who we play. We just go in there. We trust in our abilities, what we do in practice every day. We trust our coaches. We trust our teammates. So that's what we just go and put in full effort. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Anthony, for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations on the win, and good luck going to Nationals.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Thank you.
And now coming up, we will have the goalkeeper for KSA, kept the clean sheet. We will get Henry Platiez coming in. We'll put on the headset as we'll get set here. All right, so Henry, kept the clean sheet. I mean, it was a battle. You had some great saves. What's going through your mind when you're between the posts?
Well, first I want to give a shout out to our defense, because the clean sheet is not only the goalkeeper, it's a whole team effort. So our defense was very solid. I did have to make a couple saves, but that's part of my job. I train with one of the best goalkeeper coaches, Coach Anthony. We have one of the best head coaches in the country, Coach Bruno. So that's how we're able to get a clean sheet in the final.
What is the chemistry like between you and your back line, and how important is it to have such a tight bond when you are facing those challenges and facing those opportunities?
Well, we've played together for about 4 or 5 years now, so that chemistry is very important and very evident in these type of games, because for maybe 30 minutes, they had a better 30 minutes than us, so that chemistry is crucial. And as a goalkeeper, you can't stop talking. You're kind of like the second coach on the field. You're a general, so that's why you guys were able to hear me shouting and screaming a little bit. It's part of my job.
I heard you down there. I was down there a couple of times. I heard you going, but that's what you want out of a goalkeeper. You want to have someone who's vocal and who's going to help facilitate things, even if it's defense or offense, just being an extra set of eyes almost.
100%. You know, we see the entire field, so therefore if I can do a shout out, you know, they ask me to talk, they trust me. Whenever I say, they do, and I trust them as well to make the right plays.
And I want to I asked Anthony a little bit before about this too, but going into March, your one loss of the season. Samuel said it was almost like a turning point for you guys, that you guys really bucked up after that. What were those conversations like after that loss, and then moving forward to then almost being undefeated for the rest of the season?
Well, to be honest, we had, I think, 2 tournament drought of not winning Georgia, so we weren't going to make it 3. So we knew that loss was important. It hurt us deeply. And like I said, it was not going to happen 3 times that we weren't going to win this division.
And now moving on, you guys will face a Charlotte team. Don't know which one will be that Southeastern rivalry going into Nationals. What needs to be done in order to come out of that game victorious and then moving forward in the rest of the tournament?
Just a good week of practice, good vibes, a lot of communication in the game. We trust our ability. I think Anthony spoke about our identity. I think we're one of the most talented teams in the country, and when we bring our game, it's very tough for us to lose.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Henry, and go celebrate with your team, and congrats on the win.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, and now we will get head coach Bruno Kalonji checking in. We'll get him on the headset, and we'll get rolling. All right, so coach, what's going through your mind right now?
Not really much. It's for me, it's the norm, you know. So we normally when we play at our best, you know, you can see performances like this, and we're missing some of our key players like Junior Sandoval and other players that are not here. But once they're here, it's a game changer. So, but again, we have a lot of younger players that we've integrated in the game, and you can see the results.
So what is the difference between this team and the team that was third in the national tournament? What are the big differences that you see from this side from there?
Well, you know what? It's just basically we have a lot of injuries right now. Normally, these sets of players are the same set of players that were third in national. So in the exception, we bring in a lot of fresh, younger players in the group, and you can see Kellen, who scored several goals in the game, got an assist today. So we're trying to groom the younger guys as well. Those guys are 16, 17-year-old. So we're trying to integrate them for them to be the next generation. So, but the team is very similar. Henry says it as well, when we play together, there's no limit to what they can do.
And a lot of the players, Anthony and Henry, all talked about the camaraderie between everyone on the field, the coaches. What is it like to build that camaraderie between you guys and have it reflect not only on the pitch but also off of it?
Well, to be frank, when I'm building teams like this, and I'm not sure that Henry's told you, but kids like Henry, Joseph Samuel, Mamadou, I've coached them since they were 13-year-old. So you can see the chemistry is there for a very long time. So those guys, some of them play professionally, they're back home, and they're grooming the younger guys with the style of play and the system of play and all that we do around the pitch. So that makes a big difference. So
Absolutely.
the friendship makes a big difference. Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, you can even tell from me being down there, hearing everything, it really feels like you guys are this big family, and the way that you guys play, you all are very connected and you trust each other. There's that level of trust that you need to have when you're a team like this and moving forward. And it's very evident that you guys have that, especially. But I want to talk a little bit about the development side of things. What is it like to watch some of these young players that you've coached since they were 13, to see them now and become the players that they are now?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. That's what we continue to do, especially bringing some of those older guys that were 13 and we groom them. So coming back to teach the other younger guys, it's amazing. So it's phenomenal seeing those guys developing to become professional. This is one of my dreams. You know, my dream is for their dreams to come true. So, and evidently they're also working on our younger guys that are coming through as well. So it's an amazing process.
Now, Coach, my last question for you. You're moving on to the national tournament. You'll face off against a Charlotte team. We won't know which one yet. But what are some takeaways from this match that you're going to move forward into that matchup, and what needs to be done in order to secure a win there and then move on as you continue moving forward? You
know, honestly, I think our group here in Georgia is very tough, to be honest. To get out of our group, it's already tough. So I've faced those teams before in the past. Absolutely, there's some new team in the UPSL that have come in, but I know our tougher competition is in Georgia. So going outside, we just need to get better organized. We have some of our older players that are recovered now as well that's going to be playing, like Junior Sandoval. Brohan was on the bench, never got in today. So there's some key players that we're going to bring in the picture going forward that I believe that's going to make a massive difference.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much, Coach,
again
for
guys.
taking the time. And go celebrate with your team and have a great night and enjoy the victory. It was well-deserved.
Well, I want to thank all of you guys. You know, this is a phenomenal. You guys been tremendous in recording all of our game. So thank you very much. Thank you, UPSL, for organizing something phenomenal like that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach, again. And go enjoy. Go have a great time. Go celebrate all the water showers, everything, because it's well needed. It's very hot over
Amazing.
here.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Good night.
Alrighty, that is the post-game show here on the ASMG Network. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening to the broadcast here on YouTube. So long from me, Madison Cruz, Jason Longshore, Jessica Chairman, and everyone here in the booth, our cameraman, our producer, and everything else. Thank you so much for everything you do. And that was USPL action here on the ASMG Network. So long, everybody.
This has been a presentation of the UPSL. Any use of this broadcast without the written consent of the Atlantic Soccer Media Group is prohibited.